All right. So what is like the criteria that we have for like the tiers?
Yeah, I guess the general criteria would be like how much you think each Yaku impacts the game. For example, I don't think I'm going to rate Chitoi pretty highly because I think if it wasn't in the game, then Riichi Mahjong would look very different to what it looks like right now.
All right. So what is the absolute worst on here?
Alright, getting rid
That
of Chongkon,
if you
getting rid
yeah,
of
if you got rid of it,
Songkansu. I'm pretty
Chankon
sure
is way
these two
up
are F
there.
tier.
Doko
Do
is
you think
pretty much
Doko is?
I'd say it's D. It
Do you think
happens.
it's yeah? Like, do
D.
you think it's
I mean,
worse than
like,
Songkansu?
yeah, I was about to say, like, happens around the same as like a Chankon.
Is it
Yeah,
twice
no,
as
it
good?
Doko's going in F
No,
tier. I
yeah,
don't
okay,
think we can
Doko is
argue
pretty
for a D
awful.
tier.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Do you want to put Rinshan down there, or do you think it's better than D?
I think Grinshan's probably like bottom C tier. It's probably the
It's
next.
better than Shosangen?
Show Songen's,
Actually,
I don't know. Maybe like it should Show Songen be like D tier though. Um,
yeah,
but
that's
yeah, Show
true.
Songen just like goes with like a lot of like good stuff, and it's really easy to make it like into like Hanemon or even potentially Baimon level.
C tier it is. I don't think it'll be like top C tier, but we'll see. Um,
Yep. Are we
Rinshan and
ready to throw in
Haite is
Rinshan?
like a pretty interesting conversation, I think. I think Haite
Heisei.
impacts the game more than Rinshan, where at the end of a round, like when you're nearing Yukaku, you get really antsy about dealing Haite tiles and whatnot, and like people start
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing it a lot more.
Haite Dora 3 is, on someone that's technically Tenpai.
Yeah, whereas Rinshan is
Haha.
just like if you get it, you get it kind of. I don't think it influences
Mm-hmm.
It's an
the
extra
game as
draw, that's all it
much.
is.
Pretty much.
So I'm gonna put Haite above Rinshan for now. Okay, maybe we should do like the broken ones and order those, and then we'll sandwich our way into the middle.
All right. So if you remove like Yakuhai from with the game versus if
I
you
think
removed Riichi from the game,
if
which would
you
have a
remove
bigger
Yakuhai
impact?
from the game, I think you destroy an entire playstyle. I'm
But if you remove
that
Riichi
far.
from the game, you can't even call it Riichi Mahjong.
It's called Hong
Yeah.
Kong 3-point minimum, basically.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think Yakuhai is better than Tanya, honestly.
I don't know. Like with Kuitan, I think Tanyao definitely is like more prevalent than Yakuhai because like for like big like Yakuhai is really good in like combining into like like Honitsu or Toy Toy or even just like Dora potential and can also be used for like quick Kwashite, but like Tanyao is just like all of that and like even more, I think, because it's just
No, it's
really,
definitely not
really,
more.
really easy to get.
It
You don't
is
think?
easy to call for, but it locks you into like a certain hand shape and progression. Whereas Yakuhai, you can like keep a bunch of save tiles on the side and hold your Yakuhai pair as your save tile as well and push forward with that. Whereas with like
But like,
you have to make that sacrifice of efficiency if you want to keep save tiles and then
yeah, for like defense and whatnot to like fall back on, it's pretty chill.
I think our focus should be Hanchan games and we're thinking like PML rules. So Akanas. Oh, go ahead,
It's too
Yuken.
easy to fight Riichi with just a Tanyo hand.
Mm.
The stuff that you
Hmm.
keep in your hand is the dangerous stuff.
I mean, the thing about that is, if you keep too much dangerous stuff in your hand while you're fighting the Riichi and going for your quick Tanya out, you increase your deal rate. So
Yeah, you end up
it
having
can
too
be
many dangerous
dangerous. Whereas
tiles.
Yakuhai, you always have that option to just like drop your pair or your Anko even. Um, People
Spoken like a
don't
true
like the rotate
Tenho player.
Yakuhai.
I think Ricci deserves like its own tier because like if you take Ricci out of like this game, like
It is a very
Japanese mahjong cannot be like Japanese mahjong without Ricci because like a lot of like like everything of this like game like revolves around the fact that Ricci exists.
yeah. It would be
Like
Honitsu
Yakuhai wouldn't
Mahjong.
be as good as it is for defensive purposes if Ricci wasn't like this giant like bear in the room ready to like kill people because because you have that giant bear in the room known as Ricci, having that cool defensive like flexible option of Yakuhai.
Okay, Riichi, Yakuhai, Tanya. I think those are the standout Yaku. I think Honitsu probably deserves plus button-ness as well. So many of the big hands that you don't win with Riichi are the ones you win with Honitsu.
Well, I guess if we are assuming that this is no red Dora Mahjong, then yeah,
Yeah.
Honitsu's. Yeah, I can see bottom S tier.
Yeah. It's just so good to like turn off your brain and go for Honitsu. And like, people won't care, they'll just feed you tiles. And then you'll
They're
have
so nice.
on hand.
People don't care. As soon as you call like twice, people are like, "Oh, you're never getting a tile in that suit ever again."
But then you
I
already
mean, but
called
once you call twice,
twice.
you're already Tenpai.
It's like it's
It
great.
better be.
You
Yeah.
don't have to like immediately call the first tile you see too. You can call like the next and make it kind of you can like feign Tanyao or other hands. If you call a Yakuhai, it's not like people are suddenly going to start defending against Honitsu, right? So
Yeah, and like JCake's also in the Twitch chat also pointed out that's like if you do have Honitsu, it's very it kind of ties in with that Yakuhai stuff that you mentioned earlier, where it's like, well, if it doesn't work out, you can just bail out because hey, you got like all of these like random floating honor tiles, and so it's pretty easy just to kind of like fall out if you don't end up making it all the way. Yeah, maybe like super top A tier, I guess. Like Menzen is like yeah.
it
Yeah, probably
completes
super.
Riichi. Like Riichi is nowhere near
It completes
Sumo,
Riichi,
isn't
yeah.
it? Thing. There would be less reason to like fight into Riichis because the Sumo payments wouldn't be that big. But when
Yeah, I think top A tier.
two Han hand becomes a four Han hand because of Menzen Sumo and Ura, it's like really hard to fight against that. It's like I think these three are the next ones you want to talk about.
Okay, let's talk about Chitoy first. So Chitoy is pretty impactful. Like
Yeah,
especially in like Akanashi Mahjong. If you
and with
are in a
Uradoro,
yeah, with Uridor specifically. If you're in a I need a Hanuman like, to save myself situation, like Chitoy has almost like no like comparison of how do you get a Hanuman with any given hand.
yeah, even if you
Like
start out with like two pairs in your high pie, you're like, yeah, I can probably fit Chito into this.
the only downside is Chitoy is very unlikely. But the payoff is like if you do need that like super lucky like Hanuman hand, which is also very unlikely just to begin with, but to even have that chance to begin with, like Chitoy is definitely like the thing you go for.
And then to top it all off, I think the fact that your weight is really flexible, even if it's Tonki, the fact that you can Tonki weight on like honor tiles and whatnot just sweetens the deal.
Mhm.
Or you can choose like a good weight, whereas with most Riichi hands, your weight kind of gets chosen for you, and you just have to pray it's a good weight. I think the ordering goes Sanshoku over Chinitsu.
I
Yeah.
agree. Because like especially like in Akanashi Sanshoku just like is it's one of like the like pairing really good with like Tanyao and like Pinfu and Riichi, so it's one of the other pretty decent ways to even aim for like a Hanemon hand.
What
Yeah, so
do you pin
yeah.
Sanshoku as like a utility tool just for like cutting quick hands?
Hmm.
I think it's pretty useful to open with as well, so it definitely deserves better than Chinitsu. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Like Chinitsu is like really good, but it's a lot harder to build in Sanshoku. I do feel Toy Toy is probably like B-ish ish.
Easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's
because like Toy Toy goes really good with some things, but the problem is it's like really hard with other things. So for
yeah.
instance, Honitsu is really good because you don't need Toy Toy in order to get a Mangon. Like the best benefit of like Honitsu is that you can still have Rionman stuff. You can still have like really good shapes. You don't have to force yourself into like going for like all pairs and then finally getting the Toy Toy and praying. Uh, but Toy Toy is like still really good in that if you add it on to like your Yaku highs and your Honitsu, like it's a really easy way to make Mongon or Hanuman plus hands. Plus when you add in like Sana Anko, it becomes even better.
Toy Toy is better than Cheetoy in the scenarios where you want to call for a fast hand anyways, and you can keep the Ryamen in your hand. You don't necessarily have to pigeonhole yourself into going for Toy Toy,
Hmm.
but if it comes, then you get the extra value with it. So in general, I would say like Cheetoy overshadows it as a value pair hand, and then Honitsu overshadows it as like the value calling hand.
Thing about Toy Toy and G Toy is that you have far more unpredictable weights. And I think that's much better for sniping than to just going for value play. Imagine if someone like you don't necessarily need like you don't necessarily need a manga. You just need like win a hand, you'll get second. But last has called randomly, just like two mon pawn, one so pawn, and you're like, I have this random west. What do I do with it?
I mean, if you don't want them to win, they have 2 calls. You could just fold Beachin.
It's like I want to push those tiles. Like I don't feel like they can fit into very many hands.
I think what
Oh,
you can do with Toy Toy is fake Honitsu and then snipe them that way, where you're waiting on like a different suited tile. So you'll have like a pawn of the dragons and a pawn of like 8 pin, and then you'll win on like one so. I think that is good.
yeah, that kind of thing is seen a lot, especially in like JPML roles. Like,
Mhm.
they'll set it up early, so it's like, oh yeah, look at this great Honitsu, and you're like, cool, drop an offsuit tile, run! It was Toy Toy.
Also, possible hot take, but I think Junchan is better than Chanta.
I also agree that Junchan is better than Chanta.
Okay, not so hot take. Glad we're on the same page. Beachan's just like I have no idea what's happening here because I don't
That's
go for
sure.
these.
I don't go for them. They happen. They happen.
They happen.
But
They
yeah,
go for
So,
me.
well,
Jinchan,
like,
if you call with it, you already have 2 Han, and then Sanshoku usually accompanies it, so you get 3 Han, and then if
and then if you have like one
there's your
Dora,
Mongon.
boom. Yeah, Junchan's definitely one of the easier ways to get an open Mongon.
What
Chanta,
about
I think, is C tier.
Sanonko
San
versus
Unko,
Chanta?
San
How is
Unko,
it the
San.
It's
same as
like
that?
so
I think
bad
San
yet so.
Yeah, I think San Unko beats Chanta as far as like its utility and like
Mhm.
use, just because one, it pairs into Toy Toy. Two, you can even technically have a San Unko without Toy Toy, which is like one of like the super weird things that you don't actually like see that much,
No, you
but
But
you
see
you
do see
have
fairly
it.
often where you have like
Uh,
3 Anko and then you have your Riamen wait.
yeah, and in like Red Dora Mahjong, I think stuff like that's kind of like Sononko you don't see as much, but like if you're playing like the opposite of that, which is like JPML A League rules, you start seeing it more and more. And so the
Mhm.
middle ground of that, which is like no Red Dora, but you still have Ipatsu and Uradora, it does happen more. I don't know if it can be B tier, but it's definitely a Chanta.
It's I
Is
think.
Itsu better than Toy Toy? I don't think so. I think Itsu is probably better than Sononko.
It's better than Jinchan for sure.
I think I don't know. I think it might. I would say it's probably less better than Junchan in No Red Dora Mahjong.
Really? I think it's the same.
Yeah. Well, because like if you go for Itsu in not Red Dora Mahjong, you can't get a Mongon with it unless you like basically tie it in with Honitsu or Chinitsu.
Sumo, Ritsumo, Itsu.
Like,
Talking about open Itsu.
well, like open Itsu by itself, like you really can't tie that into like it by itself is like I guess like an auxiliary thing used with like Chinitsu and Honitsu. But Chinitsu and Honitsu have like other options.
Mhm.
Like Chinitsu is already just like a death hand by itself. If you have like one Dora, boom, it becomes a Hanemon. Uh, or you can even just like throw in Tanya with it. Honitsu is of course Yakuhai and Toy Toy and a lot of other stuff. Like if you do have like Itsu with Honitsu, it's almost like the thing of like, well, why didn't you just go for Chinitsu? Since it uses up 3 of your like 4 blocks, or 5 blocks.
I mean, if you have Itsu,
But
Honitsu, and your Yakuhai, that's your Mongon chance, right?
yeah, but like if you compare that to like Junchan, like Junchan by itself is like an entire like other path to get to a Mongon, whereas
Uh-huh.
like Itsu is only like a potential addition to already like super powerful stuff like Honitsu and even like Chinitsu to raise up the value some more.
Yeah, I don't know what they're telling you in JPML, but I can't agree with you. Beachin, can you talk some sense into this man?
Well, for Itsu, it's like Sanchoku. Like it's basically in the same realm as Sanchoku. It's just like twice as hard
Worse.
to get.
Do you know
Yeah,
what the
it's like
biggest
strictly.
difference between Itsu and Sanchoku is though?
Tanyo.
Well, not just Tanyao, but also like Tanyao and Junchan. Being able to combine with other things, because the only thing that you can get with Itsu is, of course,
Like Honitsu.
Honitsu.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many times when you have a reach Pinfu hand and suddenly you have you can build in like an Iki chance.
At least for the sake of like Itsu does have more utility or versatility than Junchan is true, so
Hooray!
fine.
Hooray! E Peiko B tier or C tier?
Probably trash tier.
Trash tier. I think it
It
has its uses. Like
Better than
let's
Real
see.
Peiko. Not much better than Real Peiko.
It's definitely C. Or okay, it's better than like Honro and
I personally think it is.
it's probably better than Sanonko. Yeah,
yeah, it happens more often, and it's not like you sacrifice too much to go for it. And
and you can tie it in with like a lot of things as well.
yeah,
You
and
can
even
also
when you have like the awkward Kanchan weight, the tile surrounding the Peiko makes it, or the tile surrounding your Kanchan weight makes it more likely that your Kanchan comes out. So it's not
Yeah.
bad.
I would definitely
Well,
put Pinfu above Junchan or Itsu in most closed hand situations.
What does Pinfu actually do for your hand besides give you a Dama out, which is very important, like the fact that you can stealth Pinfu?
so it gives you a Dom
A
out. It does
Hanemon
increase
chance.
your value by it does give you the ability to run for a Mongon basically.
Yeah, the
That you can only
7/7
sumo
is
for a
really
Mongon.
nice.
Yeah. And so that is actually a really good thing of being able to be like, oh, I'm in a Mongon situation. Uh where I have to like sumo versus oh I can also run. And Pinfu does give that without too much effort. Because
Hmm.
Pinfu is pretty likely. Like if we're looking at all hands, for instance, in Tenho, 20% of hands do have Pinfu in them.
Okay, better than Jinchan. I have been convinced of that fact.
I think it's also better than Itsu. Yeah, I think it's better than Itsu just because like Pinfu is weird because it's not really like a Han. It's like a half a Han because if you
Yeah,
sumo
it's
with
a
Pinfu,
Halfahan, but it's a Yaku.
like utility wise as well, like Pinfu is kind of good. Just like even like situationally. So let's say like you're in the end of the game and you're like, oh, I just got to win a hand. Like Pinfu is pretty solid, especially for like, oh, I really don't want to riichi, but I want to be able to win this hand,
Yeah,
kind of situations. So the utility of it is also really good. It makes it pretty easily to go for like Hanemon chance.
Hanetsumas.
And then even like the additional value just from yeah, like that 5-2 7-7 like Ron stuff is still really good. Um
It's good for
so
fighting
I
hands,
would
I
say
think.
I would say Pinfu is at least definitely like A tier. I don't think it's S tier, but I think it is A tier.
Yeah,
And
okay,
like
you now you convinced me because like once you get it with the two Hanyaku, then you have your Hanemon Sumo out with the Uridora. So
Hmm.
definitely not better than Sanshoku though. You can't.
In
Uh,
Akaari, I think Pinfu is definitely better than Sanshoku, but in Akanashi, I don't think
yeah,
Pinfu is
you
better
can't
than
convince me it's better
Sanshoku.
than Sanshoku.
it's not worth enough. Two
Yeah.
Han versus half a Han, it feels bad.
Let's make it B plus for Pinfu and Chinitsu. I'm not comfortable having it on the same tier.
Wow. It's like Chito and Sanchoku.
Stuff like I know like Sonic was saying like, oh, I think Honitsu is like overpowered.
It is
But like or
overpowered.
it is really overpowered. Like even in Akaari Mahjong, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think Honitsu would still be S tier in Akaari Mahjong?
I think so.
It's really good. Like just like its utility of being able to like destroy people and also run away is like really high. Its ability to just like go for a Yakuman or a Mongon that people will gladly feed you like just like feed into is also like really good. Like Honitsu
Yeah,
is just really good, and especially in like Akanashi, like it's absurdly good.
I think in some senses it's better in Aka Ari as like the anti-meta game kind of out where most people are trying to build their closed Riichi hands. And when they see they have like two Akadora in their hand, they're not gonna fold their hand into your Honitsu.
Mm.
If you're showing like 39 possible 7/7, they'll still deal into it. So I like it in that regard.
Yeah, Honitsu is pretty great.
Yeah.
I really like Honitsu on like Ho as well because
Yeah.
like they don't like respect it. They're just like, "What are you gonna do? You have a Honitsu?" And you run them, and you're like, "Yeah, of course it's a Honitsu,
Yeah,
you
that's what I'm
dumbass."
talking about. It's like hard to gauge the speed And when there's more Dora, specifically Akadora, then other
Mm-hmm.
are higher valued. So they're more likely to fight into the Honitsu and not Shibori, which
Yeah.
means it's easier to win. Like,
Because I think there's like especially like in Ho, you have like this kind of concept where it's like, well, I don't know you're 100% in Senpai, therefore I'm still gonna risk like like this. And whenever
yeah.
you're going for Honitsu, like the Ho stats said, like 93% of Honitsus are open.
Mm-hmm.
People are just gonna be like, well, you have called like twice or like once or 3 times, but maybe you're not in Senpai. Maybe it's all a joke.
Yeah.
Plus, I have like this Riichi Pinfu Dora Dora. Of course, I have to throw this.
Yeah, it's what you see versus like the imperfect information. It's like
Hmm.
you're fighting against a Tenpai, or maybe you're just boxing with shadows, right?
Like Honitsu and Chinitsu threaten the table. Like that's part of their value.
I think in Akanashi, their value is that they threaten the table. I think in Akaari, they threaten the table, but the table has enough value as is that people are going to push into it regardless. So it's easier
Yeah.
to win with it. That's how I would describe it. Yeah,
It is nap
for
time.
helping me create this tier list. I think we did a pretty good job. I'm glad that we were able to come to consensus without too much drama and argument.
It's just like Itsu. I'm surprised Itsu gave us that much trouble.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're a stickler for Jinchan being better.
Junshan is just so good. Like,
We showed you. Jinchan's so good. Why isn't it an A tier?
I mean, let's see.
We forget that.
Maybe it actually
No, no,
is.
no, no. It's done, settled. I have downloaded the image. I'll share it on Twitter maybe. Let's call it a day. Right.
はい、お疲れ。